Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monat, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monat. So good to share some energy with you today. We're going to jump right into the video. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and we're going to just chop it up about this subject. I don't want anybody to be triggered. This is a quote. The title of the video is a quote by Kanye West from his incredibly popular song Gold Digger. Him and Jamie Foxx, I believe, were in that song. She gives me money when I'm in need. Oh, she's a trifling friend indeed. Oh, she's a gold digger. Way over town that digs on me. This is adapted from a Ray Charles song, and Jamie Foxx sang it with his best impression, which he later won. I do believe he won an Oscar for his impersonation of Ray Charles in that movie. Anyway, now that you've got your fun movie facts out of the way, it's like pop up video. Who remembers those from the 90s? Let's get into what this means. If you are Caucasian and you're listening, stay tuned. This also applies to you as well. White, the reason that I put it in quotation marks, even though this is a quote from Kanye West, um, I put it in quotation marks because it's not so much, it is specifically about a certain phenomenon that happens in the Black community, but my angels asked me to stretch it and make it applicable to humanity, which is that we all have probably been in a place where we have helped someone get on from early days and or build their self-esteem and or build their business or supported them while they were in med school or you name it, right? Whatever their dream was, we were like the ride or die person by someone's side, whether that's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family member. And when they ascend finally and they break through and they get into maybe they come into a sum of money, or maybe they graduate and they get their education, or maybe they land that dream job, then a lot of us have felt like, okay, maybe they abandon you at that time. So the white girl is whatever you feel like someone upgraded in from their perspective. That may have been how it was for or two after you had been a support system. The reason this comes up is because there is something going on in the zeitgeist right now regarding Danny Lay and the baby. For those of you that don't know who they are, it's a rapper and his mistress, essentially his side chick, as he called her, a certified side chick. And it brings up a bunch of discourse about narcissism, triangulation, and gaslighting because they did a very messy live where they kind of exposed their life behind the scenes. And so it's given us a lot of fodder for the internet. You know, we love to chat about things. But it made me think about the trajectory of relationships. So whether you're in the space of being in the community where maybe that's happened to you, maybe you've dated somebody and held them down and quite literally they left you for someone that was Caucasian, and or you held somebody down and they left you for a bigger or better thing, whatever they thought it was. The disappointment of it. Kanye raps 18 years, and essentially he says something about like, you know, and then he says like maybe the baby isn't his or something like that. And then there's another part where he says, and when they get on, like you've held him down, he was a fry cook, you were helping him do everything. And then as soon as he gets on, he leaves your ass for a white girl. And that line just stood out to the culture because a lot of us could relate to it. But again, I say many of us have had the white girl be a thing. Now, specifically with Baby and Danny Lay, she is of a lighter complexion, and she made a song, a very tragic song, called Yellow Bones, What He Like. Yellow Bones, what he want? That's what he likes. Well, clearly, as he's evicting her out of his house, 3 months after she's had her baby and putting her out on the streets with a infant, Yellowbone wasn't what he wanted. And this is an interesting thing. Someone may leave you and or ascend in their own mind to a different situation, and you may be able to see from a mile away that this is not going to work. Probably like his wife Mimi, that's his wife or his long-term partner, did. She also made an assessment. But Danny Lay felt that she was maybe better. It reminds me of Diary of a Mad Black Woman, so I guess there are a lot of themes here for that. And there's a scene, and I'm going to see if I can connect it to my community page, where the person has chosen someone who happens to be lighter complected. I did notice when I was seeing the scene, but chosen someone over the person that was his ride or die wife, the mad black woman, the protagonist in the film. And he has the woman in the background barking and being like, when is she getting out of our house and get her out of here? And I have been in that position personally. So that's why that line in the song means so much to me. It was a catchy thing, but until you live it, you don't realize, like, oh, this is what it feels like. And you can very easily seem crazy. Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Didn't she have a right to be mad? So if you are the proverbial mad black woman, meaning no matter what your race or color is, but someone has done something that's so egregious over such a long, it's been a long con, if you will. I'm thinking of like Cool Hand Luke, like it's been a long con, and you realize, like, oh my gosh. And if you've been in any narcissist shell, you've had that experience. So in, let's talk about the narcissist empath dynamic. When they get on, they leave your ass for a white girl. Well, that would be the new supply, would be the white girl. Does that make sense? So that's how I want you guys to kind of like switch it in your mind. It's not so much about the color of the girl per se, unless that's actually been your experience, but it's about the idea that everything that you did to support or be in a position of with a partner or a friend or a family member went out the window when they thought they got something better. Okay. And again, deep dive into colorism and all of that stuff for another video. But here I just wanted to talk about that idea of that and the fact that there is a pain around that. When it happened to me, I had to really go inside and evaluate because it's a huge trigger. Specifically, because in my case, it actually did deal with race and deal with someone racist. So, someone triangulated me with somebody racist and then tried to make them seem like they were better than me. Now, I mean, that's racism, guys. Something, it's like move along, nothing to see. I have lived that my whole life, those experiences, but I didn't expect it from this one person who also happened to be narcissist. We'll put that to the side. Let's just talk about the triangulation of that. So any girl in any triangulated situation is going to have insecurities or feel a way about that. But when it happens and someone, whether it's about them being black or white, like let's say you've always wanted to be a cyclist. Let's say that you've always wanted to be a cyclist, or you didn't care anything about being a cyclist, but you supported your person who wanted to be a cyclist, and you did that, and then they become like, number one, they become Lance Armstrong. Well, essentially they are Lance Armstrong because they are lying. But whatever the case may be, and then they are like, everything's fine in our situation, we're great, you were a great cyclist coach, you're my partner, I'm appreciative of it. And they're like, who I can't stand though? I can't stand those marathon runners, and I will never be around those marathon runners, and it just makes no sense to me. And then after you supported them through their cyclist dreams, they leave you for a marathon runner, and you're like, what? I didn't wait, huh, what? And it's not about maybe not being able to stand, because I don't want to like misconstrue that, but it's about this energy of um having someone betray you with the op. That's the best way to put it. The op would be the opposition. So whoever it is that you might be opposed to, or whatever energy it is, or whatever you stand against, it could be swapped with political parties. You are helping your politician's girlfriend or a politician's boyfriend, and you're supporting them and whatever, and then they switch sides on you. That's what this feels like. When they get on, they leave your ass for a white girl. It happens in every race and every dynamic and every ethnicity. It happens in our political parties. It happens with our business colleagues. It happens in work relationships. We all have felt the betrayal, the sting of that betrayal. But when you really invest in someone and they betray you like that, it's really hard to come back from, and it really can leave you jaded. I know I had to work through, and I'm still working through a lot of that. Now, again, because mine specifically dealt with race, I had been prepared for that all of my life, unfortunately, because I've had so many terrible experiences with people. So terrible that you just become numb to it. And it was interesting. I was recently chatting with someone about seating at a wedding and whatever the case may be, and it was understood that the people that we might be seated next to are decidedly southern, from Mississippi, very racist older people. And the people that I was talking to was like, well, I'm going to sit them there and sit them there and whatever. And I was like, you can sit me right next to them. I literally have trained for this my whole life, meaning I am so ready to have, I know that makeup of person. I know who they are, unfortunately, because I've had to survive in situations where things were not supposed to work out for me. God is so good. Back to you. The reason that I say that, if you've ever had it happen, opposite race, your race, whatever the case may be, that is sometimes a slap in the face and it's a thing. But if it's just about a triangulation and the white girl is proverbial, right? We think of Becky with the good hair. That was also Beyonce making a nod to when they get on, they leave your ass for a white girl. She was in, something triggered her to make that line, because there were a lot of Beckys, I'm sure, that Jay-Z had that were fine, but there was something that triggered her. Specifically, when she says Becky, Becky is a colloquial or an Urban Dictionary kind of term for a white girl, and someone who, it's, well, it was highly sexualized as well, but a Becky would be like considered a white girl. So when she was saying that, that was her saying Jay-Z cheated with her, or on her with somebody Caucasian, and for whatever reason, out of all of his many affairs that we all know about and that he's written about and that she's sung about, that was the trigger for her when she says, if you do this again, you will lose your wife. If we're talking about it from the racial perspective, it was the indignity that I could be the Beyonce and work so hard and whatever else, and that you would betray me in this way and with this person. For whatever reason, that was her trigger. We all can be triggered by the proverbial white girl, whatever and whomever or wherever they may be. And what that means is that it may be someone who is against all of your ancestry, your DNA, your whole code, your moral code, your ethics. So when someone chooses someone who is so, what you would consider the antithesis of you, it is such a crushing blow. And it's something that you're supposed to learn from. And you know, guys, if you're here, you're also supposed to grow. So, what you are meant to learn about that is about how much you are giving energy to somebody. Are they deserving of it? Is it reciprocal? Are they trustworthy? We are the variable as humans. Things can change overnight in a matter of seconds. So, I'm not saying that you have to be able to predict into the future that someone's always going to be perfect by your side. But there are red flags to pay attention to. And if you're putting in too much energy, then it's not worth it to you, my sweet boos. And I want you to pull out, because that feeling of when they get on, they left your ass for whatever, the proverbial white girl, they left your ass for the better job, they left your business that you had planned because they felt away, they left whatever, I mean, you could put it in any scenario. They switched the political party on you. You will feel a way about that, but it's for you to extract your own worth and know how you need to maneuver and how you need to go forth. It's not so much about the fact that whatever they chose was better. It's about you. I think it's really about boundaries and understanding that you can't give so much to someone who is not investing into thee. Okay? So that's what I take away from it. When I'm watching the Danny Lay and the baby situation play out, even again, even if you guys don't know what it's about, you've been in it. You all have been Danny Lay, and or you've been his baby's mother, the wife, primary wife, or you've been around a narcissist, or you are. So it's like we all have been in that situation where we have thought something of someone and had got it completely wrong, or we trusted someone to be something. So in that position, Mimi, his wife, being the darker skinned black woman, would be able to say, I supported him, he got to the top, and then he publicly humiliated me with this girl who was singing about her skin color being primary and better, and that's what he wants. In fact, he's treating her no better. And that's been my biggest takeaway. It doesn't matter who levels up to what. I've seen people think that they're leveling up and have great regret. I was speaking with someone who had left his wife for a karmic partner. The hot, sexy, had to have them, couldn't resist them, love spells, and then you wake up and realize you hate the person you're sleeping with. That kind of situation. So he left a really good wife for a partner, and he was saying, like, I am miserable. This person, like, is a gold digger. Full circle. Thanks, angels. This person's a gold digger. um I give her money when she's in need. Yeah, she's a trifling hoe indeed. Yeah, she's a gold digger way over town, and she digs on me. And he got what he wanted, but he's miserable because he misses his wife. And God is so funny the way he works out things. He's always helping me heal and to understand the truth of a situation. But that's the truth. Sometimes people that do that level up will always remember you or regret how they did you. And I guess someone needs that message tonight. I don't know why I'm talking about him, but I think your angels wanted you to hear that. Someone here needs to know that they picked the hoe. They did. They know they picked the hoe. It was what was convenient and easy. They were high, they were inebriated, they were whatever. But then what happened was the spell wore off, all the love spells, all that stuff. When we get people against our free will and all of that, we're merging the lesson here. You will always have backfire. Maybe that's the next video that I will make, because people seem to be very enamored with all that weird spell work and energetic work, I should call it more correctly, where it's like I'm trying to bind someone to me forever, not really accounting for longevity. So anyway, this guy picked the hoe, according to him, and he's an older guy, and this woman that he picked bled through all of his military supply, not what do you call it, like retirement and all that other stuff, and more. And then he made more money yet out of the businesses, but he's so unhappy with her. But he's stuck with her. She had a baby and all that stuff. So he's really actually stuck. I mean, when I say stuck, stuck is relative. We can always leave our situation. But he said, what I had was more than enough. I got greedy. That's just what he says to me. I got greedy. I wanted my cake and I wanted to eat it too. I felt very entitled. And then I got this person, like attracts like. So he was just like, she was just like him, and she mirrored him to him. And now he wishes he could get rid of her. And maybe he can in his own way, like, leave her, get a divorce. But that's up to him. The moral of the story for anyone listening here is that you will, um, well, I think that specific moral is that you're supposed to know that you were validated and valued, and maybe that person does know it in a different way, especially if you felt like you were alienated in your situation. I guess I'm just supposed to give you guys an energetic hug about that. I hugged myself when my time came up. I was like, wow, I can't believe this happened. I have been preparing for this my whole life. I didn't think it was going to go down like this. I never thought it would go down like that. And then that's quite naive of me, isn't it? As a person who is a black woman who has dealt with people's racism and all the phobias and all that stuff, I don't know why I thought this one person would be different. They were not. Sometimes that's also what that is about, is a reality check. Sometimes we can be so in love with someone, so caring of someone, so supportive of them, that we refuse to open our eyes and see that they are devoid of loyalty. When they get on, if they leave, you're asked for the white girl. They'll realize later that's not what they wanted. Maybe like the baby with his narcissistic ass, he's realized, yellow boning, what do you want? He wanted a dog walker and play mind games with her. And he could, because she was immature and she was desperate and she was a pick me. Much like a lot of us have been or have watched other people be if we were triangulated into a three. But the truth of the matter is, he kind of knows where his bread was buttered, even if he doesn't go back home and act right, right? For whatever reason, he calls one his certified side chick and the other one his wife. Know who you are, empath, in the story. And if you've ever been hurt that way or alienated or betrayed, know that it was for greater glory. And that was about you getting out of that naivete, but also knowing your worth. Someone that wants you will put in the work, and they will not consider a level up part of their mandatory package. They will continue relationship, and you guys can evolve together. It's possible. So I just wanted to give that message out tonight. Love yourself, or this morning rather. Love yourself, hold yourself, and know that it's okay if you've been in that situation. And if you felt angry and triggered, if you felt bitter, if you felt jaded, that's all a natural part of the grieving process. Don't, and you can't fake it. You can't fake your way through it. I couldn't talk to you this calm after having the experience. That absolutely, it broke my heart. And it, again, it's funny, my mom said to me, as we talked about it when it first happened, and she was like, of course this was going to happen. She was like, Mona, this has been happening your whole life. But me, I'm law of attraction. We're not going to speak that over. And a year later, I hadn't talked to my sister about it at all. My sister had no idea anything was going on. And we had one conversation about it. We've only had one. And I gave her the lowdown. And she said, well, if this person was sitting next to a racist all day, and then she only had a couple minutes, of conversation with you, why wouldn't you think that she would be racist too? Well, I first one don't think that racism is that contagious unless someone has predispositions and it's already in them. And it was such an eye opener for me. So yes, I'm meandering again with the racism conversation, but it's because it really made me think, and I thought I never would discuss this with my sister, but this one time we did, and she gave me just the greatest clarity. She was like, of course she was influenced, of course. And I'm giving full, like I'm gonna make that person be an adult and take full accountability. But it was just an interesting thing, and I thought, over a this many year friendship, how could that be? And she was like, that's who she always was. It's who her parents were. And when she said it, it just blew up in my mind. I was like, you're absolutely right. I could see and know exactly what place she put me in. Now, that was my situation. That was racism. How does that apply to you? What is your proverbial white girl? What is your situation? Who do you feel maybe thought that they had moved you on? We hear this dynamic a lot in like middle school and high school where friendship groups shift and you feel like people move and do different things. So I'm sure if you think over your life, you can find a situation where you feel like you were supportive of someone and then they just moved in a different direction and it kind of blew you away. And if you've been there, then it's okay. All right, you're allowed to be all of the things. You're probably being gaslit. It didn't feel good. It hurt, but you get past it and you learn. That's right, empath. I love you so much. Come back and join me, guys, next time, and we will continue to evolve together.